I'll hang out.
What is going on, everybody? It's Nothing But Skills here, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you the build, which is probably the meta build at the moment. Yes, you can run a lot of different builds, but right now this build right here is one of the cheesiest but most used builds in the Dark Zone and in Conflict, and there's a reason why. And I heard in rumors, and I didn't get to watch the state of the game, that they will be maybe nerfing this build in the future, but we don't know until it happens. So I'm running 11 offensive, 4 defensive, and 3 utility. This is going to give me 192k armor and 207k health. I'm running this with the Vector, and I have Strain on here because this is a crit chance, crit damage build. And what Strain does is it gives you that 5% critical hit damage is gained for every 10% of your armor that is depleted. We get Jazz Hands, 10% reload speed, which with blowback is amazing because that faster reload speed allows me to reload every time that nade goes off. And having a high RPM of 1200 on the Vector is crucial with this build because you can constantly hit those high crits. So on the scope right now, I have crit chance, underbarrel, crit chance, and then on the muzzle I'm running crit damage, and then I do have plus 20 rounds on the magazine. But I'm going to switch out the scope to crit damage, and remember, this really just depends on how much crit chance you have on your build, whether you can put more crit damage or crit chance. Now if you look right here, I'm able to do that because I'm already at 60% crit chance and 42% crit damage. So let's go back, and we're going to see that for the secondary, I'm running the Merciless. Because of the holster talent, landing a shot has a 5% chance to deal 100% explosive damage. Now, if it deals explosive damage, that will trigger Spark that's in on my backpack. And then for the pistol, I am running the Demolitionist Specialization pistol. But let's get into the build itself, right? So for the mask, I'm running the Negotiator's Dilemma. I do have a 3-piece. For the 2-piece gives me 30% explosive resistance, but the 3-piece is what I'm using for blowback, which every 3 seconds you have a chance of launching a nade at a target that depletes your armor. And imagine that with clutch and always getting your armor back, losing it, getting your armor back because of the way clutch works with this build. This can happen every 3 seconds, and that happens a lot. Now, I do have health on the mask, and I have 10% critical hit chance because I want to max out critical hit chance on this build. You want to hit that 60% so you consistently can heal yourself. Now, for the chest, I am running a Wyvern Wear chest. This gives me 7% critical hit damage. This gives me 6% weapon damage on there. I also have 3.5 critical hit chance. I would rather have critical hit damage here, so if I can get another one with weapon damage, critical hit damage, and then have that health roll 55k, this is what I want. We have Berserk, and then we do have 2 offensive mod slots that are going to give me SMG damage and more weapon damage. But yeah, Berserk, Clutch, Negotiator's Dilemma, it all works really, really good together, and you'll see in this build, and you'll see in more clips at the end. Now for the holster, this is where we're going to get the second piece of Negotiator's Dilemma. We have health on here, almost 30k health, and then we have 15.5 critical hit chance, and then we go down. We do have a defensive mod slot. We're not going to put anything there because we have to stay at 4 defensive, but we are going to take advantage of these utility mod slots, and this is where we can add some more explosive damage to our build. So we added 4.5 right there, and that's going to work when blowback goes off. Then we go for the third piece of Negotiator's Dilemma. We have 7% crit chance, and then we have another utility mod with more explosive damage. Now on to the gloves. The gloves are going to be the Alp Summit gloves. We have 20% skill haste on here, and then we have 11% SMG damage. We have Clutch. This is what keeps us going. This is what's great about this build because you're constantly healing. You guys know Clutch is already a meta build. Now when you add it with Negotiator's Dilemma, it just becomes super OP and cheesy. And that's why they work hand in hand. And then we do have an offensive mod slot to give us more SMG damage and more weapon damage because we still want to be able to hit pretty hard with this build. And then we're going to dive into the backpack. We're running a DH backpack. This gives me accuracy. Now you can run a couple different backpacks, but the idea behind this is you want to have an offensive mod slot and be able to have 3 rolls. But the talents you want, you cannot switch out. You want Sparked on here. Damaging enemies with skills and explosives gives you 15% weapon damage for 15 seconds. So that extra 15% weapon damage is crucial on this build. You do need 9 or more offensive, which you will have if you stack your build the way I did. We have Vital on here for that 25% health. And then we do have another offensive mod slot on here that's going to give us SMG damage and weapon damage. If you can't get one with Vital, maybe have one with explosive damage right there, and that will be pretty good. Now, I know there are a few backpacks that do come with an offensive mod. You can run probably a Gilligard and then also RK. So you don't have to have a Douglas and Harding because that 5% accuracy isn't doing really anything for me. Now, this is how I do stack my build. We are going to dive into the skills. So for the skills, I love running a Booster Hive because I like to be pretty quick on my feet. So I drop the Booster Hive, move around, hit those shots, keep moving left to right, hit those shots again. And then I do run in with the Defender Drone. If I get into trouble and I really need it, after my armor breaks, I will pop it. That should allow me to kind of get my ground, get my armor back. Some people don't like running the Defender Drone and they'll run the Assault Drone. It's really up to you. I do like running the Booster Hive and the Defender Drone with this build. Now let's go into the stats. You're going to see I do have 60% crit chance, 42% critical hit damage. Now that does not account strain, remember, because strain is going to be in effect once my armor is depleted. I do have 44% SMG damage stacked on here with 11% all weapon damage. And then we do have 33% explosive damage. And one thing I've noticed is just with 33% explosive damage, that was enough to pretty much destroy anybody because I'm putting so much damage out. Once they pop my armor, I'm consistently healing and that grenade just messes them up. Spark is great for that. You continue to have Spark, you get additional 15% weapon damage on top of the damage I already have. Vital for that extra health. We do have Berserk, Clutch, and all four of these work hand in hand. And then with the Negotiator's Dilemma, it just, I don't know what to say. That's why this build will be nerfed. I'm pretty sure that developers are looking at it. I think that's what they said in the state of the game if you guys have been listening to it. But if you guys want to try out the build before it does go down, a lot of guys run this with Eagle Bear. I personally like the SMG better. I think I have enough damage with it. And I feel like having that higher RPM of 1200 consistently keeps me up. So I'm able to stay up. I'm able to drop multiple people. Sometimes I can get all 4 guys. Sometimes I can only get 3. And that's just something you guys have to pay attention to. This is definitely a build that is probably one of the meta builds in the game. And in 1v1, you can do a lot of damage because of that grenade. And pretty much if you're just a better player and you have your build set up in a 1v1, you shouldn't be losing your fights. It's just one of those builds that's how it works. But as you guys keep watching these clips, you're going to see how deadly this thing is and how annoying it can actually be, right? Because you feel like you almost had someone, like that guy almost had me, and then a big old grenade hits him in the face. And I mean, it's a cool build, but it's kind of like, I don't know, it's a little cheesy, it's a little OP, like there's no way to defend against it. And if someone has a crazy build, like a clutch build that you're not going to have a lot of armor, you constantly get your armor back and forth because you're hitting those crits, it makes this build pretty crazy, right? And that's the one thing that's hard, right? Hard to defend, because if they're running it, unless you're running the same build, a lot of times they'll probably drop you before you have a chance. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let you guys watch this little manhunt clip we got right here, and that'll wrap up the video. There's some pretty crazy shots with this Negotiator's Dilemma and how this nade, kind of like I'm taking one guy out, my armor pops, the nade hits the guy that's stacked next to him. It's just crazy how this works. And with this SMG build, it still hits really hard because I'm running a crit chance, crit damage build with strain, SMG, you know, and sparked. It's a lot of damage coming out, and then to top it off, hitting people with this Negotiator's Dilemma just makes it that much more painful, right? But if you have any questions on how to make this build, use the comment section. I'll try to answer them. I've been a little bit busy, guys. You guys know I've been moving. So if you guys do have any questions on any of my builds, always use the comment section down below. And if you enjoy these videos, always leave a thumbs up. That's the easiest thing you can do for me, is leaving a thumbs up. It takes you 2 seconds to do. And if you enjoy my content, perfect way to do it. So we'll wrap it up here. I'm going to let you guys finish this off. But until the next one, nothing but skills out.
neutralized. Your status.